around the UK, we've seen obviously events which have caused us more damage, I guess, in the last couple of years than probably what we've seen for a long time. So adverse weather conditions, including flooding, snow, the tail end of tropical storms, and not forgetting the volcano ash, all things that have affected insurance companies in the UK and around the world. Also in 2011, it brought us strike action across the UK and Europe, increasing disruption affecting travel plans, and also obviously Japan witnessed its worst natural event, which is still affecting businesses worldwide today around manufacturing and production. In the UK, many cities obviously witnessed civil disturbances and causing millions of pounds worth of damage. Some of the images you might have seen on the internet certainly caused concern within AXA senior management team, because some of those buildings were actually insured by us. One thing you might have noticed, and I kind of, went through the usual, YouTube and places on the internet. One thing that always came up all the time is, and it might be a common denominator, I don't know, and I hope Ian Bradley from Santander isn't here today, is the fact that there's always a Santander branch getting damaged somewhere in the UK. And I don't know why it is. And I always sit back on a Friday night with a beer thinking about Ian Bradley, the BC manager, and thinking he's going to be busy tonight. So you may want to build that into your plans or relocation if you're thinking about any expansion or anything. So why is business continuity an issue for SMEs? Well, sometimes it's not just the big events that provide the greatest challenges. The smaller outages that can creep up on you can catch you out as well if you don't take them seriously. So you can't always plan for every eventuality, but having a workable framework in place that will allow flexibility will always have you'll always have a fighting chance of actually getting through it. Just a very quick example, when I was with a previous organisation, we had a large building on a business park which had one exit and the same entrance, one way in, one way out. Worked effectively. There was a number of businesses on there as well. And then one day there was an accident, road traffic accident at the bottom on the A road, and the boulevard that connected our building was blocked for half an hour or so. But unfortunately, a motorcyclist lost his life at that. It then became a crime scene, and that was blocked and shut down for 3 hours. It was at 2:30 in the afternoon, and we had to change a shift at 3 o'clock. We couldn't get our staff out, we couldn't get our staff in. Now, we didn't have a plan for that. We didn't have a specific plan for that event. But the flexibility in our planning allowed us to make and put plans in place to enable staff to get out of the building and to get home, and we put other things in place so that we could get people back on site. So just think about, you can't plan for every eventuality, but you should have something that's flexible and not be too prescriptive. I think most managers, it'd be fair to say, in organisations retain the vast majority of their knowledge about their organisation in their heads. This is built up over years of experience of on the job and through networking. The information would be about the processes, services, service level agreements, and contact details that the organisation has with third parties. It's all there for nobody to see, because at the end of the day, it's just retained in a number of key people within that organisation. So when an incident occurs, and those key players are not available for whatever reason, the organisation's ability to manage effectively through to resolution may well be compromised. So protecting the future of a business, whatever the size, has to be the #1 priority for every business leader. However small your business may be or organisation may be, it's still important to have a contingency plan in place. Any incident, no matter how small it is capable of impacting your business and profitability. The size of any contingency plan will depend on the risks following the business. It will be as large or small as is needed. For those of you old enough to know Janet and John books, I'm a really big fan of Janet and John. Business plans should be really, really simple, should be flexible and understood by everybody, so don't make it too complicated. It doesn't need to be costly either. The continuity plan should fit your business. Okay, so it should just account for your key risks and outline what your company will manage. So at the end of the day, I mean, I'll give you a little secret. AXA Insurance in the UK, over 12,000 employees, over 100 sites, multi-billion organisation. We don't have any BC software. We don't have any at all. So we run our business continuity planning just by using the tools that are available to everybody. Okay. So planning for the future is essential. And in any organisation, the price of not doing so could be a lot higher than many companies anticipate. So most companies will underestimate the impact of any event, and insurance companies see many policies that fall short of adequate cover. Most of this is on the next slide. Your cover should be appropriate to the size and complexity of the business. Many organisations fail to index links policies or consider the true cost of a site rebuild or the replacement of old or bespoke equipment. Insurance companies have seen evidence that businesses are not evaluating business interruption insurance indemnity periods effectively. In most cases, 12 months is no longer enough, and due consideration should be given to things and requirements such as longer lead-in times. So many manufacturers will only offer a build-to-order contract today. So just-in-time services. More production sites have been relocated to Asia and the Far East, which means turnaround times are greater. New buildings are subject to greater and new regulations such as heat loss and disabled access. And these factors, plus the cost of raw materials, will have an impact on your recovery time objective. Insurance underwriters can apply favourable technical adjustments for businesses that identify and manage their risks well. On the flip side, negative features can result in possible loadings as well. So additional security systems, effective fire suppression, risk management, the management of hazardous processes and materials will all help. Likewise, a regular review and testing of contingency plans, off-site PC backups, replacement stock and equipment are all seen as positives. You should speak to your broker and make sure that you provide as much detail onto the insurer as possible. You should remember also that many insurance companies such as AXA conduct over 90% of its commercial business through intermediaries. So make sure you don't miss the opportunity to tell the story. So we'll touch on claims on the next slide, but just for now, just to ensure you that what you should have is more accurate and details of accounts, peak processing periods, and any additional data that will assist the insurer. So most people don't keep details of peak periods, whether that be monthly or yearly. And if they lose the business and it's at that peak time, it could be very, very difficult to actually persuade the insurer that your loss of profitability is X or Y in that case. So you need to keep proper accounts of these. The more prepared you are, the easier the process will be. So please do the calculations and convince the insurer that you can back up and have credible evidence. So the perception may be that insurance companies do not want to pay out. Of course it's true. No, that's not true. And, insurance companies do receive more complaints around services when there's a kind of regional national event, simply because there are more rejections. There's more claims, there's more rejections. So around these type of events, increasingly what you'll have is policyholders will either exaggerate damage or just put on, post a fraudulent claim. In today's world, claims handlers are much more aware of fraud, and there's more prudent checks that are made around claims. So greater advances in technology can assist loss adjusters in understanding what has actually happened. So some tips on really making a claim, and they may sound very basic. So report the claim as early as possible. If it is a major regional event, then insurance companies will be swamped with recovery companies. There may be delays as well. If you think about someone, the flooding in Cockermouth, you know, AXA actually sent a team of claims experts. They sent a team of loss adjusters up to Cockermouth so that they could actually deal with the situation there and then. Provide as much information as possible and be really honest. Do keep an incident log of events and what's happened, and also key decisions that you've made during the event. Pass on any pictures of damage to back up your claim. Some claims can take longer, so just be prepared for it, depending on the complexity of your business and the availability of materials, bespoke equipment. So just a few things to consider to take away today. So do something today. On your way home, think about the risks your business may be exposed to and document those. Review your current policy and coverage, and do speak with your broker or insurance company to discuss any potential gaps. Allocate time to consider the what-if scenarios with your colleagues and workforce and think about the consequences. What if we had a flood? What if that building next door to us does have chemicals in it and we can't get it on our site? You know, just the very, very simple risk assessments, they really, really do work well. Do consider critical third-party suppliers, include them in your planning. Many businesses will forget about those third-party suppliers that are providing a bespoke service to them. And remember that you're not on your own. Please do speak to business leaders and industry professionals. Jonathan's touched on it today, and other speakers have as well, from Sefton. There is lots of people out there. Invest in the time and invest in the commitment. And that way you can protect your business. And don't get next to a Santander branch. Sorry, that's it.